Hello, today we will be talking about cocoa. Cocoa is a coconut shell substrate that is technically hydroponic because it is completely inert. It's what I use for what I call big root systems. Like cucumbers, tomatoes, those kinds of things. So basically, we have a 1.4 pound brick here, and what we're gonna do is put that in a bucket, and this will fill almost approximately a 2-gallon pot. So we're gonna put that in the bucket, and we are going to add 1 gallon of water. Now, depending on the size of bricks that you use, you might have to use more water. But for today's demonstrative purposes, that's what we're doing. So you want to let that sit for a couple hours, and then kind of chop it up. Make sure every part of it gets soaked. And then after that's done, this is what it turns into. You can see that. So it's basically a well-mixed sludge, or it's moist. You can squeeze some of the juice out. It's not too bad. But if you want to go even further, like right now, you can use this cocoa. You can throw it in a pot, start your plants, transfer your rock wool cubes, whatever you want to do. But if you want to take it to the next level, you're going to add a 2nd gallon of water to make a slurry. And you're going to stir that up a little bit. Make sure it's nice and mobile. All right. And then you're going to add perlite, which is basically an aggregate. An aggregate that is also completely inert. What it does is help aerate the cocoa, so the roots have something to latch onto and move on from. So you just kind of want to sprinkle that in. I would say give it about 30% of the amount of cocoa that you put in to begin with. And as you can see, it mixes in really well. It will float to the top, but that's not an issue. All right, so the next step of buffering, you're going to want to add CalMag. This is the brand that I prefer to use, but it's not an endorsement of any kind. So you want to check the label and find out how many milligrams per gallon that you need to add. So let's see. I should have looked this up. Per gallon of water. All right. So we're gonna take our trusty little plunger here, measure out the proper amount. In this case, since we added 2 gallons of water, we're going to go with 40 milliliters. And you always want to make sure to rinse the plunger out significantly after you're done using it. And if you can see it, there's a little piece of white cotton at the top. Do not get that wet ever, or it doesn't work right. So when you dry it, it needs to be upright, and you can't just dump it in a bucket of water, or you'll just have to wind up buying another pipette. So the next step would be to add your microbial additives, which you can kind of season to taste, whatever your preference is. And then you would let this sit for a minimum of 18 hours. 48 is better. Just that way all the little organisms have time to soak in and start producing what they produce that makes this such a phenomenal medium to use. The next step will be to take your EC and pH pen and check the measurements. So first you want to check the EC. All right, and in this case it is way too high. You generally want it to be between 1,500 and 2,000, and that's what you're going to let the tea soak at. So at this point, I would add another gallon of water to bring it down, because it's hitting around just under 4,000. So I would add another gallon and check it again. And then once your tea is done, what you're going to want to do is take a strainer, which I will show you in a second. This is just a little strainer I got off Amazon. So basically you're just going to scoop up a bunch, lightly press until all, or as much of the water comes out as you can, and then transfer that into a different bucket until it's all gone. The tea you can retain. You can save that tea. You can just keep throwing bricks into it for, you only got to swap it out maybe every 6 months or so, make a new one. And then once you have your dried out product, then what you're going to want to do is buffer that down until you hit about 400 EC. And once you hit 400 EC, that can go into your finished container that you can use to store or just use straight away. It's up to you. So that's really pretty much about it. Don't forget to add whichever microbial additives you would like, and make sure that that goes into the tea. You don't want to add that after the fact, after the flush, and then you're good to go. Thanks for watching.